on the sunny side, and we'll try to make the most of that day, seeing that a lot of you will be at home resting. My name is Dennis Walu, one and only of Nigeria Info FM, and the show would not start if I do not do this. Yo, what's up? How you doing? How's your mind? How's your body? And how is your soul? What's popping? Like popcorn. What else pops? Balloons. What else pops? There's popcorns, there's balloons. What else? I think that's the one I can remember. All right, so what are we looking at today, or what's on the menu for today? We're starting off with house/shop rent payment palava. Yes, all ye tenants, we are about to touchlight your matter today. I would have used problem. I would have used trouble. But I think using the word palava drives home the point better. It's how a lot of us tend to feel when our rent is almost due. The anxiety, what am I going to do? Oh, this man will still come here with his wahala. So while the tenants face the wahala of paying the rent, you see the landlords and the landladies, I don't think a lot of them would like to come and knock on your door to remind you that your rent is due. However, it is what they must do to ensure that the rent is paid. Because you see, some of us, we've cultivated the habit of sneaking out the compound first thing in the morning before anybody wakes up and coming back late at night. Then when the landlord says, "Okay, no, don't worry, I go see you, they come. It seems a lot easier to pay rent for the first year. You see that first year rent is not hard to pay. You somehow know how to gather the money for that first payment. But you see, subsequent years, it seems harder, difficult. So some landlords go as far as requesting that you pay 2 years rent in advance. And one will think that 2 years is enough to gather the rent for the third year. Is 1 year enough to gather future rents? Or is it not enough? Now, that conversation takes us up until 1 o'clock. We'll go on the news break for trending stories. We're expecting some guests in the studio, some bright stars from Beraton. And then they'll be coming to talk to us about the life of a Nigerian teenager. And that will take us up until like 2 o'clock. And then the final hour, we're going to be talking about dealing with anger while parenting. See, in a country like ours, using anger to discipline children is quite common. Yelling and hitting children to teach them a lesson, or disciplining them by doing something drastic when they are uncooperative is more common than we think. And many times it does have an impact, instant. At other times it has a lasting impact. But does it help the child both in the short as well as long term? A certain man identified as Neto Chukwu on X recounted how his mother's actions changed the course of his life when she burnt his travel document 2 weeks before he was due to travel to Australia to play soccer. Hey, God! He was 15 years old at that time. Some organizations scouted him and they paid for everything. The long story short is the mom came back one day and she was yelling at him and he hears and she said, "Hey! You think I cannot tame you? Hang on and clip your wings." She goes into his room, picked up all the travel documents and said, "So this is the thing that is now shaking your head." She took them to the backyard. She lit the fire and she threw everything into the fire. And it was when the fire started to catch it. Her head just like it wing, it opened. And she regretted that action. Till today, she keeps apologizing to the son. Currently, they are suffering. They are suffering. But you see, anger. What if she had waited before she decided on what to do to the son to teach him a lesson? Why is it that it seems like our parents always take actions instantly, and usually when they are very, very angry. Some parents have broken their children's arms. Some parents have scarred their children for life. And yes, they say it's tough love. They say if they didn't love you, they wouldn't do all of that. Hello, mama. Hello, papa. Let's talk about that anger. Because I have felt it in recent times. I mean, sometime early this month, or was it last month? One of my phone, God, Pum, who did it? My daughter. And if she was much older, I bet you I would have been a typical Nigerian parent. And who knows what I would have done to her. But because she's still a toddler, it was paining me. I was just sucking it in. And I just knew I had to replace the phone somehow. And I can laugh about it today. But you see, some parents would have done otherwise. So let's talk about, is it avoidable to discipline a child while angry? Does it help to do it there and then than to do it much later? Do they need to understand that what you have done or what they have done have caused you to get into that state of anger, and whatever actions they get, is it hinged on what they actually did or your anger or your temperament as a person? That is a 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock conversation, and I am looking forward to hearing from a lot of parents and would-be parents and guardians on that one. And then we'll draw the curtain, of course, on the sunny side today. Enough of all of that. Shall we dive right into the conversation for this first hour?
You no longer have to miss any moment of the action. Listen to us from anywhere in the world.
Champagne, I want to pop one now. Oh, that's true. Reminds me of that song. Pop, 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 pop. Okay. Since house is not mobile, then it is imperative for one to acquire one, either by rent or purchase. And most often, the individual financial capacities hinder the purchasing power, hence the prevalent house rent in Nigeria. It is a concrete fact to say that shelter is one of the most important of human needs. The need to have a good resting place and a place to rest one's head after the day's hustle. Housing in the world today is a very important and indispensable human want. It is very imperative for every human being to have a home. And generally, the basic human wants we know is food, shelter, and clothing. But you see, shelter, it still remains the most indispensable of the human wants, all things being equal. Many of the home occupiers in Nigeria today are largely tenants who pay for accommodation weekly, monthly, or yearly. However, there's an uncontrollable increase in Nigeria population, particularly in urban areas, and it has resulted in an unimaginable increase in the demand for housing, and this has indeed made some landlords some sort of earthly lords on tenants. Now, there is also shop rent. While the internet and social media has made it easy for a lot of business owners to operate online, there's still some people like myself Who would like to go to a physical place to transact business? I still believe in seeing, touching, and feeling the product before there is exchange of currency. So do I buy things online sometimes? The answer is yes. If you ask me to choose between buying online and going to a physical place, I will go to the physical place to buy. So for those people like me who would want to go to a physical place to buy, it means the business owner has to pay rent to run business in a physical location. Except, of course, the business grows to a point where they can own their own property. So you see, some Nigerians are not just paying house rents, they are also paying shop rents. For instance, the lady who runs a salon, the one you go and sit down to do your washing and setting and relaxing and nails and all of that, pays shop rent. When you get your lightning, they pay shop rent. When you buy your mobile phones, they pay shop rent. Think of some businesses. Even the marketplace you go to buy tomato and pepper and all of that, they pay rent in those shops. But then, it's easier to own the shop or get the shop first or get the house first. A 1-bedroom, a self-contained, a 2-bedroom, a 3-bedroom, no matter what the case may be. When you need to move, you would have to pay rent. What happens after the first year or the second year if you are told that you must pay 2 years in advance? That makes it difficult for people to pay for the 3rd year, the 4th year, and the 5th year. Now this is a common saying. The man who is unable to renew his rent in landlord A's house at Rumekini, and landlord A gives him quick notice, will some way somehow come up with the full rent to pay for another 2-bedroom apartment at Rumaholu. And it beats my imagination how this man could not just gather that same amount of money and renew his rent, as opposed to having to call a truck to pack everything, repaint, remodel, and what have you. So, what exactly is the main reason behind delayed or non-payment of house rent when due? That's question number 1. Question number 2 will serve as some form of solution, but then again, we must look at the possibilities. Would it make it easier for tenants to pay rent if they have to pay it monthly as opposed to yearly? Let's talk. 0817 923 0002. Again, 0817 923 0002. We also have 0817 923 0003. That is 0817 923 0003. We have the WhatsApp and Telegram number for your WhatsApp and Telegram messages. It is 0809 0306416. Again, 0809 0306416. Now, from the pre-sale we have for this conversation, I have well over 10 messages on Facebook. So permit me to start with those messages while I wait for the call screener to screen your calls before I start taking them. By the way, a call screener is on standby to take your calls first before passing you on to me in the studio. Wisdom Luke on Facebook says, the rate of house rent in Port Harcourt is so excruciating and annoying. Equerry landlords, they use their joblessness and idleness they put for tenants' body, which is very bad. Really? Are you sure? Is it really joblessness? Or is it the current situation of things that makes them put the rent at that price? This one is from Israel Victor. House rents are crazy now. The landlords are not considering the next person. All they care about is to get richer. They don't know that if the people around them have no place to sleep, they will not have peace of mind to sleep too. Now, someone in response says, would you blame the landlord or the economy? How is school fees? How much is food items in the market? How much is a bag of cement? And then this person says, how about tenants that have no house, need a good job? Bro, it's survival of the fittest. Another person says that when they receive house rent, which should equal the percentage of the house rent annually. So many landlords have personal house but very mean to increase house rent. They should tax the people very well. They are making outrageous amounts. And someone else says, you're not scared of insecurity, you will not have peace in a society that only sings about themselves. And somebody says, go and build your own house. And the response from that was, go and buy cement now. Roselle from Odili Road, welcome to the sunny side. Talk to me.
Yeah, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Your voice sounds great.
Oh, thank you so much, Roselle.
I think my contribution to the whole of this talk, the landlord and tenant, is kind of really high. Like where I am in Odili Road, like this area, you see a bedroom flat going for 1 million or 1.2. And then a lot of other expenses are added, like caution fee, 50,000 agreement, the agency fee, legal fee. And at the end of the day, it's quite really outrageous. And you look at the whole thing. So, and the economy is hard, and it's not really helping matter.
Oh, wow. All right, thank you. Thank you so much for calling, Roselle. Ishokbo from Woji. Welcome, Ishokbo.
Yeah. Dennis, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, please, let's mind the way we talk. Not equal landlord putting their laziness or jobless all things in that of a rent. No. If they are jobless, how come they got the money to rent, to build a house? Let's just call it that. If on my own side, the problem is that the economy this time around is getting worse every day. A man who has retired for, let me say, 2018, 2019 has not been paying retirees up till now. And he has a house, he has a building, he has children. What do you think? What a man has is what he will use to train up his children. And I'm a landlord, fine and good. But any time I want to increase my rent, I call my tenants. We'll have a round table meeting. Please, this is my plan, this is my plan, this is my plan. And this is why I want to increase. I don't just come and then wake up one morning, increase. No. And I take it 5 years or 6 before I increase my rent. So not maybe tomorrow the person has been retired and government has not paid. The best way is to raise up his rent at the shop or house. It's not laziness. It's not jobless. Thank you. God bless you.
All right. Thank you too. God bless you. Zion from GRA. Welcome to the sunny side.
Yeah, this girl, how are you doing?
I'm good. Why is your voice low today? Please speak up. Or is it from my end?
No problem. I guess it's okay now, right?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
The stuff is attaching all these sentiments to the economy as a show of shame that we are just so greedy and we are not true Christians the way we claim it to be. The economy is being run and managed by people based on their level of reasoning. Now you have a privilege to make amends. You are now joining those people to cause more harm. Let's be honest. Everybody don't receive same salary amount. And every salaries of everybody don't come same time. So what do we do? Yes, we want to say cut your coat to the material you have. We agree. But let's flip the conversation. Some people work in Port Harcourt Township and maybe the salary is around within 50,000. And let's be honest, such people may be living in either self-contained, right? So will you ask them to go and stay somewhere far that is according to their material? No, they have to stay close. We the people, can we for once boycott some certain government policies that are inimical to the people? And you hear sentimental comment like this, how much is a bag of cement? You build a house for 20 million. Do you want to get to 20 million instant, huh? Won't it take a period of years? I thought you said it's an investment. It's no longer an investment. Since you want to make your money instantly, it's not an investment. We the people, can we adjust from this primitive way? Long ago, when we were renting houses as single brothers and sisters, we understood that period. That period, there was no development like this. There was the total amount of houses in Port Harcourt was not what we are seeing today. But today, a lot of us, God has uplifted our standards. We have our apartments. Some of us are managing apartments. Can we bring that pain you went through that time? See what thing I go through. I no go want another person to go through the same that pain. Because of that house rent, when I the manager my house no go get this kind of exorbitant amount where people they pay. We keep doing the same thing that turn over evil against what will happen to us in the next few years to come. This way, the economy is hard. Some of us are lucky that when we are working, they have increased our salary, numeraries, and the rest of them. But what about those who are not privileged to work in such a place? The petroleum and the fuel attendants, supermarket people, sales girls and boys, the Ogwajadi and the rest of them as the ultimate be. And those working in private upcoming industries. What do we say about that? We should learn to study the gospel. Economical downturns happened long ago. We saw how people overcome them. A family has to come to Egypt to what? Outrun economical problems. Can we apply that here? Oh, on a no go fee pay this amount for now. Yes, na my house, even if on a come out, other people fee still come. But for now, make on a no they pay 10,000 per room, pay 5,000. More to observe the economy for the next 4 years. After 4 years, will a rush or come and wipe away that your house? And most of these houses we are talking so that built this house was 10 years ago. It's an investment that will wait for you.
Okay.
Let's be humans at a time like this, Mr. Zion.
Being human at a time like this, this problem of not paying rent did not start in this economy. It did not start in 2024. As far back as the 80s and 90s and the early 2000s, you would still hear some landlords who are very loud. And sometimes you do not blame them for being loud because they have been quiet for a very long time and it seems like the tenants are taking them for granted. So they make it obvious that some tenants are owing. You know you're owing, you avoid the landlord. Sometimes you beg and then there is a grace period and the grace period will elapse and you still do not do anything about it. And this should not be about any tribe, to be completely honest, because we have landlords from other tribes as well. Sometimes the actions of these landlords are prompted by the actions of the tenants themselves. So what exactly is it that is making it difficult? Pardon me.
Nigeria Info. Right back after this.
For people to renew their rents. It may seem like, oh, it's difficult for them to pay the first year rent. But for some people, it's very easy. They pay the first year rent, they buy furniture, they make the house look like their taste. They pay the first shop year rent, they furnish, they do opening for the shop. Yeah, it's opening, they call it. And then you begin to see customers. And then when you come to take rent, they tell you, I got business, no deal. Customers, no they buy you. Everywhere just tight. Everywhere just tight. But I see customers coming in and out of your house. Everywhere just tight. But I see that you just got a new phone. Everywhere tight. But I see you just got a new car. Everywhere tight. But I see you carrying girls every now and then. Everywhere is not tight when you need to do all these things. But when it's time to pay your rent, surprisingly, everywhere is tight. And that is why I'm saying, would it make it easier if people have the consciousness that this rent is monthly? Maybe if it's being paid in a year, they feel like they still have time to gather the money. But if it's monthly, would it be easier if it's 200,000, you divide it by how many months and pay monthly? I mean, I hear that's how some of our brothers pay rent over there. Chris from Aba. Hi, Chris. Welcome to the sunny side. Talk to me.
All right. Thank you. Good afternoon. You know, about the question, why it's very easy to pay the first rent, and when it comes as years goes, it becomes difficult to pay even for 1 year. I think it's about the mindset. You know, some human in nature, we like changing environment. And when your mind is no longer there, you know, some things become difficult. But when it comes to time you live in that environment, there is a lot of wake-up call in you that makes you work harder just to leave that environment. And some long like when they don't want you anymore, they just want you to go out so that they will have another tenant and all those extra fees that they need to collect from the new tenant. And there is like, you too, you don't want to stay anymore and they don't want you. So it becomes difficult for you to pay the rent. And all you are thinking about is to have to put yourself together and leave that environment for them. So that is why I think it's very easy for you to, when it comes back out of my house and you see between 2-3 months, that person has got another place. It's even better than more expensive than that place. While you have been owing for 6 months. You see? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I think it's about the mindset.
The mindset. Anonymous, welcome to the conversation. Let's talk.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Talk to me.
Didi, let me just say this now. First, you know, one thing about paying your rent and your landlord, I think maybe I want to say please. Just maybe one of these days or next week, you talk about how one can pay his rent. Let's say I pay 250,000 a year. You can just tell them how they can pay rent because most person does not know how to pay rent. Some just wait till when the rent expires. That is when they want to start paying. No. April. You need to start thinking of start saving, even if it's 20,000 naira, till next 12 months. You've gotten something, or if it's 50,000, like know how to pay it. Because most persons does not know how to pay their rent, and at the end of the day, they will start looking for the only head start looking for a way how to pay their rent. But for this, the aspect of landlord paying, landlord increasing his rent. By the way, I'm a property manager.
Luxury Gardens and Luxury Gardens. Wow. Service